Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm.
If you don't know our host, David Hamm, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
their racing roots. Sponsored by Jersey Cape Yachts. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and their YouTube channels. Also on jerseycapeyachts.com. Check out my website, dhamim.com. Be sure to hit that subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you'll be notified every time we go live.
Now here's our host, David Hamm.
All right, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm. And no, this is not Natalie Decker. We have Buddy Foss with us this evening. Yay, welcome, Buddy Foss.
Yay.
And I got it right. I keep calling him Tommy because, of course, Tommy is his spawn. And I'm not going to say anything about looks or any of that kind of stuff, but I'm just glad to have you on here with us this evening. So I want to send out our best wishes to Natalie, of course. She's under the weather, and apparently it started this morning, and it didn't get any better throughout the day. So, but anyway, we got Buddy here. How's Buddy doing? You been at the beach, so you got a little bit of a tan. How was the weather?
It was great down there. I mean, it rained the first couple of days and it was kind of cool, but after that, it warmed up and life was good.
All right. Very cool. So Buddy agreed to come in here kind of last minute, of course, because I found out today and kind of had to throw this together. And but he worked for Larry. Well, you worked with Larry Carter, and you worked for Travis Carter, Penske, Larry Foyt, Roush, Michael Waltrip Racing, and also Mark Martin's Winn-Dixie car.
Yeah.
Which is the infamous car that would kick everybody's butt, especially at Charlotte and Rockingham, places like that. I'm sure. I'm assuming you were there a lot of the times, or you worked on the car.
Yeah, I just carried tires on the car. And I actually worked on the 16 car at Roush, but we put together a pit crew to pit the 60 car.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, Edgar then, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Edgar,
He's a character.
He's a piece of work.
Yeah. And he's still, last time I saw him, it was over at Roush. I mean, he's been with Jack Roush, I don't know how many years, probably 30 years now at least.
Yeah, I think he was one of the first employees that Jack hired in Michigan. Work when he first started racing.
Yeah. And I guess he kind of does a little bit of everything. He was doing a lot of the cylinder head stuff too, from what I remember.
Yeah. He pretty much done about what he wanted to do, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say he can do whatever he wants to right now.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we got Tracy over here with us as well. And Tracy will tell us whenever we have questions. So y'all feel free to ask away.
Questions, comments.
Yeah, make your
Jokes.
comments. Yeah, tell some jokes. I'm sure I'll be getting some text messages from old Tommy there. He's still at the beach.
No, he came home yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was the last of the.
Well, then, where's he at? He could have come in here and hung out with us.
I think he's taking care of father-in-law.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you told me that.
He's at home with the babies tonight.
Yeah. Okay. And the father-in-law had some issues, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he is.
Laura's dad. Yeah, so good evening to Dickie Dennis is on here wishing Natalie well, and also Rachel Rodman, Randy Hamm, my uncle, he's kind of a what do you call it? He likes to take pictures, so he would go to the racetrack with me sometimes, and he took some really good pictures. Like the last race we had at North Wilkesboro, he went and took some, and he dropped the camera lens, the camera cover, the lens cap.
Yeah.
Down in the Porta-John, so I've told that story before.
He said it did not get dirty.
It didn't get dirty, yes.
I hope it's still there.
No, he got it. He fished it out.
It landed on something solid. I don't know what exactly, but it
Okay.
And he picked it up. So he says, hello, everyone. And I can't say anything. I would have done the same thing because I'm that way about my stuff. I don't want to lose anything. So anyway, that's what it is what it is. And Jeanette Thornley's tuned in. And
wow.
Yes.
She says they miss you.
Okay.
She misses. We miss you.
Well,
Smile, buddy.
is she down there still?
Yeah, she's still at the beach.
Okay.
She's working from afar.
Yeah. She said, smile, buddy. How about
I'm
this?
sure she's been out shopping all day is what she's been doing.
Can you blame her? All the
Well, she's with
outlets.
her mom, and her mom loves to shop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a bad thing. You go to get, well, not bad necessarily, but you go to the beach and it's like, hey, let's go to Walmart, you know, and one of the first things you do.
You always have to go to Walmart first to get your groceries.
Yeah, and you go to get your groceries, and of course the straw hats and the suntan oil, and you know, and then you end up staying there pretty much all day.
Yeah, we went to a little shop down on the beach yesterday, and the guy in there actually, they bought so much stuff in there, he actually paid them to buy something.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh yeah, some kind of wine opener or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Okay, how about that? And good evening to Suzette McGuire, Chad Hyder's up in Ohio, and why
Jim
don't I say it
Dooley.
like that? Ohio. Jim Dooley's in Virginia.
Paul Rodriguez.
Yeah. So, and I know Suzette was really looking forward to Natalie being on here, and so, but you know, we'll get her on. I've got to reschedule. So, because next week I have planned Andy Houston, possibly Tommy Houston, which is his dad, and then the following week I may do. I'm not positive yet, but I got some stuff in the works. I made a phone call to Kenny Wallace today. But he's out in St. Louis. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do a setup where I can do a Zoom call right here on the computer. It shouldn't be that hard. I'll get it figured out. And then also I talked to, who was I was talking to earlier? Anyway, we'll get it figured out. So we'll have.
Just seen pictures on the internet where Kenny was at Bike Week with his brother Rusty.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got stories to tell about that.
I'm sure that would be great. And Rusty's got apparently he's got something going on with some motorcycle shop or something.
Steven's building those big wheel baggers
Okay.
in Rusty's shop down there in Mooresville.
Okay, that must be what it was. He told me he was trying to help Rusty out because I told him I'd seen some of his videos here recently that he was doing from the beach or wherever, you know. And Spencer Boyd, is who I talked to earlier, so I called him up, and so we'll get him in here sometime soon. He's another Truck Series driver that won at Talladega. I believe it was last year. I think that was his first NASCAR race that he won. So. Yeah, so it'll be good. And Paul Rodriguez is in Port St. Lucie, Florida. So, and he says I have a big problem losing my 10mm sockets. So, my Uncle Randy says it landed on a wet towel, toilet tissue. Yeah, you read it, Tracy.
It landed on wet toilet tissue. He used at least half a roll to pick it up. It wasn't wet. He washed it at home really, really, really well.
Yeah, I'm sure sanitized and all that stuff. All right, so buddy, tell us your story. We want to hear, you know, how you got started in racing, and you also do racing with Jeanette Thornley, who's tuned in with us as well, and her social media is Nitro Granny, right?
Actually, her Facebook page is Jeanette Thornley Racing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She's got her own. It's her racing stuff.
That's her racing stuff.
Yeah,
That's what y'all need to go to. Go to Jeanette Thornley Racing.
Yeah.
And
That's how it is.
And like her page over there.
Jeanette Thornley Nitro Harley, I think, is how it actually goes, something like that.
Okay. And so, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. So, and then you can tell us what you do with that.
Okay.
But how did you get started? Like, where were you born and raised and all that?
Well, I was born in Hamlet, North Carolina, a little small town down there next to Rockingham,
Mm-hmm.
and I grew up 4 miles from the North Carolina Motor Speedway, so that kind of got the bug going there.
Sure.
And I just, it kind of, went from there. I went to first Winston Cup race I went to was with Bobby Hudson, and when he took a car for Terry Schoonover he took it to Rockingham, and then I went with him to Atlanta, and Terry got killed.
What was his name?
Terry Schoonover.
Yes. Okay. I remember you told me about the video.
Yeah.
And I saw that on YouTube.
That was in 84 or 85. I can't remember. And then I kind of like, do I really want to do this, And then I went and worked a real job for a while. And then it was like 91 or 92, Steve Allen and Jeff Troxler, a bunch of guys from Rockingham, had went to work for Roush. So I ended up going to the 4th of July race with them in Daytona. And next thing you know, I was going with them on Sunday, every Sunday, flying up on the Sunday crew. And then I went to work there full time. I can't remember the year. It's like 93, 94-ish, somewhere with Wally Dallenbach on the Keystone car.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then, Wally left and Ted came, and I was there. Can't remember the dates, but it was like till about 99 or 2000 I left there and went to work for Travis with Spencer on the Winston car.
Yep. 23 or
23 car.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was there for a while, and when he, it was after T. Wayne died, the Winston deal went away.
Yeah.
And Kmart came in there. Well, when they had the Twin Towers, they flew into the towers, the economy tanked, and Kmart pulled out. So I went to work for the Petties for a while with Kyle. Then I left there and went to, done a year with Larry Fort. And then I went to Penske. And I was with Penske I was with Rusty when he won his last race at Martinsville. Larry Carter was the crew chief.
Okay.
And for some reason, when Rusty retired, Roger, he retired a lot of the 2-car guys.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so Michael hired 5 of us, I think, and we went to work there and started his Toyota deal.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember that. That was over near the Concord Airport, out that way, right?
No, it was exit 28, the old movie theater.
I was thinking, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the movie theater and a skating ring.
Yeah.
And turned the skating ring was a fab shop, and they redone the movie theater and made it the assembly shop.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Then now that you say that, I'm like, oh, that's where it was. So, and you were talking about Steve Allen. You worked with him many years ago.
Oh yeah.
So, and he's probably tuned into us. So, hey, Steve, hopefully get you on here one of these days. But he's a pretty busy man. He's got his machine shop. Is he still doing that?
No, he worked at Childress, and he had some health issues, and he's just kind of, I guess you would call it semi-retired. He's got his little shop. He builds hot rods, street rods, and rat rods, and just kind of whatever people wants him to do,
Yeah. Okay. I've heard his name many times too, because when I worked over at Robert Yates Racing and around those guys at Roush Yates that were old Robert Yates employees, talked about Steve Allen a lot.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to talk about with Stevie.
Sure.
I grew up with him. We're both from the same town, Rockingham.
Oh, okay. Was he kind of a tough guy? He could be kind of hard on some other people.
Yeah.
I mean, rightfully so. They deserve it. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
He's a good guy though.
Yeah.
He likes it his way, and that's how it is.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. All right. So you were with the Michael Waltrip Racing, and then that ended up. Well, they had some things going on.
Yeah. Actually, I left before then.
Okay.
I got burnt out, and then I left. I can't remember what year that was either. It was probably around 11 or 12. And then I just spent the 2 years after that spending my life savings doing nothing.
Oh, okay.
And
Sounds like me.
I did take care of Chandler Levan's late model for a year.
Oh, okay.
For Don Tilley, his grandson. I'd done that for a year over at Hickory.
Yeah.
And kind of got burnt out on that. And I met Jeanette, and we went drag racing.
All right. Very cool. And that's the next chapter. There is life after NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
Basically so, yeah. I remember some of the, and I'll just briefly bring it up about the Michael Waltrip Racing whenever they had they kind of got in trouble there with Ty Norris was over there and some different things going on. And it's stuff that, well, some of it was stuff that people had done in the past anyway, but it was, they kind of got busted on it. So
yeah, they got busted, and I think NASCAR just wanted to make an example out of somebody, and they were in the hot seat at the time. Yeah. And I mean, they didn't really do anything that probably don't still happen today, but they just, like I said, somebody want to make an example out of somebody, and they use them.
It's kind of like the way things are nowadays with all the social media and everything. Everybody's got a camera now, and everybody's listening in on the headsets now versus back in the day, your team listened in, and then you might have one or two spectators. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but not that many people were actually scanning the races. But now you can scan it on your computer, on your scanner, on your phone. Oh yeah. And listen to it. So of course, if they got heard saying some stuff, and it was kind of like stretching on the cheating side, and of course made an example of. So I remember things like that happening at Savco, but it never got seen.
Right. I remember it's happened to a couple more another team I worked for, and they needed a caution, and
yeah, sure. that's what happens. We sure could use a caution right now. I remember Felix Sabatis
Oh,
coming
yeah.
over the radio, and then, we might have one of our third running car that, just hanging out back there and say, oops, decided to spin out or whatever.
Well, it still happens today. I don't know how they word it, but it still happens.
Code words.
Because a lot of times people
Exactly.
when they get a caution when they need it.
Yeah. E-Way, Eden A,
I
Austin
doubt that.
K. Yeah.
I doubt that.
Something
That would
like
be too
that.
obvious.
Like Pig Latin. So, Tracy, we had some few comments on here.
Yes. Dickie wants to know if Jeanette's going to be racing in Virginia this year.
No, I don't think we go to Virginia this year.
Okay.
We're going to run we went to Virginia when we ran NHRA, but we're going to do the All Harley Series this year, the AHDRA. They came back last year.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to put our focus at for this year.
So is your sponsor Tilly Harley Davidson?
No.
And Terry Levan's going to be there to help out in the pit crew.
Well, they used to help us a little bit, but they haven't done anything in the past couple of years.
Yeah. Times are getting tough. Things are getting tight, I suppose.
Actually, we got an oil company out of Oregon that's going to help us a little bit. Jeanette can probably tell you more about that than I can because she does that. But they're going to help us out a little bit this year.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of the show, we can actually, if she wants to call in, we could do that. If she wants to call in and talk about that. And we had that comment from Derek Colson on here too.
He said he wondered if Buddy knows Richard Bostic's from about the same area, from Hoffman, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Richard Bostic, his son married my sister.
Oh, okay.
Okay, how about that?
Yeah, I think he moved back down there. And I talk to Richard occasionally on Facebook, and every now and then we'll talk on the phone.
Is his son, is it Ricky?
Ricky.
Okay. Yeah, I thought Bostic was in here. It's been a couple months ago. So yeah, he was in here. We went across the street to Broad Street Burger and got us a burger, and then come over here and did the show. It was really good to see him again, because I traveled with him, many years ago. Of course,
Mr. Cool.
Oh yeah,
He was full of stories
Oh, yeah.
and jokes.
Oh, yeah.
he is one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life.
Oh, yeah. Actually, before I started working in racing, I would go to Charlotte with Ricky, and we would wash the peak truck. We would drive up there, when we had time, and we'd actually wash the peak truck for Richard.
Okay.
Or help him, or
Sure.
just something to do.
Yeah, there's a lot to do for a truck driver, and a lot of people probably don't realize this thing. Oh, he just drives a truck and that's it. But
Now, the truck driver is probably the hardest working guy on the team.
yeah,
I mean, we go, we get done, we change clothes, go jump on the airplane, and next thing you know, he's got a 10-hour drive and got to be back Monday morning or sometime Monday.
yeah.
So truck drivers,
And it seems like they're going to try to beat each other back to the shop, back to Charlotte or wherever,
Oh, yeah.
And then once they do, some of them go above an extra, and they'll get the car off the hauler and pull the engine out or have it ready to pull out. I think Bostic actually did that before, But I mean, the haulers are just packed super tight
Oh, yeah.
with all the stuff after the race, and then of course before the race they haul it down there.
Yeah, the truck drivers are way underrated for what they do. I mean,
And for sure, Scott Trevison's down there, and he said, hello from Post Daytona Bike Week 2021. I saw some of his pictures he was putting on Facebook. I am now officially headed to the Betty Sherrill Ford Clinic this weekend.
Means he's got a detox.
Oh my gosh, yes. Between, let's see, race week at Daytona and then bike week. Well, it's kind of like race weekend at Daytona and then another weekend. And he was there for both of them. His camper was parked there at the racetrack. And and then the bike week. So that's a good time.
So Derek Colson says some of the transport drivers used to do the cooking for the team also.
That's true, yes. Yep. Unless you're hard times on the 4240 car, he had Big John come in and cook. Big John
I was going to
Yook.
say, isn't there one that's got a cookbook?
Yeah, that's Big John. Mm-hmm. Big John's Speedway chicken was his famous chicken recipe.
And Scott's made that for us before.
That's right, he has. It's like a chicken.
With everything.
And it's got, mustard and garlic and,
Mayonnaise and ketchup.
yes, the whole kitchen sink or whatever.
Whatever's in the refrigerator.
Yeah, pretty much.
In the door.
That's it.
There's a funny story about that. Larry Carter and myself, we used to at certain racetracks, they would cook in front of the transporters, whatever, and Larry and me would go down through there, and we'd sneak down through there and see what they were cooking, while they weren't looking, we would get us something to eat and we'd go back.
Yes. That's the thing. It's like you smell something from one of the other trucks, and it's like, I'm going to go down there and see what they got cooking.
Well, you could have just said you were doing quality control.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Quality
the 21
control.
car, they used to cook. Ricky Simmons, he always kept his grill going, so we knew about where to go, what we could get,
Yeah. And some of the teams have they really do it up nowadays from what I hear.
Yeah.
They're all into the nutrition and all that. Back then we just had, we had chicken, but we had, hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever. Good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then we had, beer sponsors. So you had all the beer you want, and you could take that beer and trade it off to, chewing tobacco or whatever.
Yep. It's like a black market going on.
Yeah.
A lot of bartering.
Yes. And Larry Carter, I guess his team's, was it mostly cigarettes, Camels?
Yeah, we didn't have much because, they put the restrictions, so there wasn't a bunch of cigarettes to give away.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have a lot to trade with.
Right.
So that's why we had to sneak around.
Yeah. A black market of NASCAR.
Yeah, one would watch and the other one would go in the grill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course you had the team apparel and the hats and things you could trade for other things.
Right.
And to get you out of speeding tickets, talking about truck drivers. Yep.
Yeah, they said they make sure they carried lots of hats and et cetera for souvenirs.
Yeah. Did you ever ride in the trucks?
I rode a couple times. I rode with Ricky some when I worked at Travis's, but that's about it. I rode with Craig one time, a 16 truck. We had to do a thing in Virginia Beach or something for Family Channel, and I rode up there and back. But we always had to work. In the beginning, we didn't get any days off. We worked 7 days a week. If we got half a day off on travel day, we thought, man, this is great,
Hit the lotto.
Yeah. So did I mention Tommy Foss was on here?
Yeah, you
Okay.
did.
No,
He wants you to tell us some of your motel stories. Tommy does.
The old motel stories. I think he's talking to you, buddy.
Well, about the funniest one, I think, is when I had Steve. I worked at Roush, and I think Steve might have worked at Yates, or he might have still been at Roush. But anyway, I got a key to his hotel. I told him my name was Steve Allen, so I went up there and got a key to his room.
Oh, yeah.
And I went in there, and we turned the heat on wide open and opened the doors, and it was at Daytona, so we threw popcorn all over the balcony.
Oh.
And all in the room. Well, next thing you know, Steve comes in from the racetrack, and it's full of seagulls. And they made quite the mess when they were eating.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. I bet so.
They left evidence.
What goes in must come out,
Oh, yeah.
I suppose.
Everywhere.
Yes.
That's funny.
But we're all the time, we'd order pizzas and have them sent to other team members' rooms. And
Yeah.
just anything we could do to annoy the guy. Wake up calls at 4 a.m.
Oh, yes. Especially to the competitor teams.
Oh,
You got to try to keep them up at night so they won't perform as good the next day, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So, if y'all have any questions out there, throw them out here to Buddy, because I know he's got some stories that he's going to tell us. Do you have any? All right. So, of all the drivers that you worked with, what was the driver that you enjoyed working with the most?
That's a hard question because, I had fun about everywhere we went back then,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed working with Spencer because you never knew what was going to happen.
Sure.
Like I say, I was with Rusty when he won his last race at Martinsville. Rusty was a good guy. And Mark, all them guys are really good, back in the day. I don't know how they are now, but they were all of them were a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Ted used to, I'd go out to dinner with him a lot when we were at the racetrack, and we'd always say it's his birthday, and then they'd come sing happy birthday to him.
Yeah. He probably didn't like that. He's like,
No, he didn't. He'd try to sneak in and sneak out, but we'd always make sure that people knew he was in there. But
yeah.
And I rode motorcycles with not Rusty, but Larry Foyd a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, I worked for Kyle. Kyle was a really good guy. You know, he was very intense, but
Yeah. Which car was that?
on the 45 car.
Okay. Yeah.
The
Hot Wheels
Sprint car.
Oh, that car. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. The 44 was the Hot Wheels car.
Yep.
Yeah. That's right. That was after his Sabco days.
Yeah. This was actually at Petty. You know, we were
Mm-hmm.
in the level cross.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun working there just because of the history, you know.
Sure.
I mean, they still got the original building that Lee worked in. It's still there.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, that's good stuff there. I went out there one time. I went through Level Cross, I guess, wherever the Richard Petty statue is.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
know.
in Randleman.
Randleman, okay. Yeah. And it's the small Richard Petty version.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and I took a picture of it and I showed Kyle when I was going out to the Victory Junction game, and then Kyle just laughed at it and he's like, they're going to redo that. That's the wrong. And Richard was like, he just thought it was cool. You know, he's not going to complain much, but
Because they're both tall.
yeah, right. Yeah. Both Kyle and Richard. Rachel asked a question, does Buddy Foss have any stories about Mark Martin?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. I mean, I didn't actually work on Mark's car other than, you know, pitting the 60 car. But, I mean, not really any stories, I guess, other than racing stuff. Because he's, you know, he stayed in his motorhome. He didn't come hang out with us much at the hotel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But Mark was a really great guy. I mean, he was a racer. You know, that's.
What about during the race, like his temperament and that kind of thing? He was a really smart guy. I know that.
Yeah, Mark was smart. He knew what to do to the race car, you know, and him and Steve. And, I mean, Mark's temperament was like the rest of them. I mean, he was intense, but he got the job done, you know.
Yeah.
He was very intense, but
I remember that car would dominate, like I mentioned earlier, Charlotte. I just remember mainly seeing
Charlotte,
it there.
Rockingham. About everywhere he went with that car, he was good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was good.
That's what Tommy says. The 60 car was a bad ride in its day. Yes. And Tommy was probably a young man back then too. But,
oh yeah. I got pictures of Tommy standing beside of it when he was, golly, probably 6 years old, 7 years old. I should have got those out, but I'll get them to you after.
Yeah, there you go. I'll put them on my website.
I think Tommy still actually got some of my old fire suits from the Winn-Dixie car and uniforms and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you have to bring or send pictures of those too. Scott Trevison asked, did he work on the car with Martin was leading at Bristol and pulled in the lap before the checkered flag?
I was at Roush, but I was not pitting the car that day.
Okay.
I was at Roush, but that was before I can't remember. That was before I started pitting the car.
Oh, okay.
I was working on a 16 car because we came up on Sunday after that had happened.
Yeah. Okay. I went through some of that, some of the years of pitting on the Cup car, and then if Sterling was running a race, I would go jack for his car, and if Nemechek was running, I would go jack for that 87, and then we kind of just switched around. If they were both running, then it was just like, all right, where am I going to go?
Actually, the reason he done that, I think, is the story I got, and I believe it's true because I've heard it before. He happy hour came after the Busch race back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Mark was actually talking to Steve on the radio of what to do to the Cup car to get it ready for final practice. And I think things happen so fast at Bristol, you know, he'd go around and come back and he just pulled in.
Oh, I see.
One lap short.
They were kind of putting the cart before the horse. They were talking about the Cup race car already.
Yep.
And then pulled on in. Yeah. That's got to be a bad feeling.
So whoever Thomas Smith is wants to know if there's any J.J. Clydenfelter stories.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. I got one good one about him and Jim Glenn in Texas, the first time we ever raced in Texas. They went out to some bar. I don't know where it was at, but they had an altercation and we come out in the lobby the next morning and somebody had jumped on Jim Glenn's head and scratched it all up. And
Oh my gosh.
him and JJ, they ran pretty hard.
Is that the fire suit? Tommy sent me this picture.
That's my old Keystone stuff there from Wally Dallenbach at Roush.
Yeah, that's not the Winn-Dixie one, but see if he's got any Winn-Dixie stuff in there. Just go digging through his closets.
I'm sure he does. I know he's got some hats and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that old Wally Dallenbach drove that. That was a reason to drink Keystone beer, because it was in NASCAR, and that's what I used to do. I try to support the sponsors, just like Beer Man always says.
That's
Yeah,
about
you
the
like some
only
Keystone
reason to
Light.
drink it.
I know,
It's
right?
free.
It is very. It's like watered down. I'm not going to say Coors. It's like watered down beer. Yeah. It's definitely not
It's light.
the most appealing. It is very light. Yes, maybe that's good. It's a good diet beer, low calories.
About diet, but
We drank a lot of it then too.
Sure. Yeah, I mean when you got it free, right?
Oh yeah.
And we got the Coors with the Coors team, of course. And gosh, we got beer. We get the Coors Light. We get the banquet beer, and then we would get charcoal. Like you would get
Kingsford.
Yeah, I think it was Scott. What was that? It was I think a Royal maybe or something like that. Anyway,
Royal Oak.
and it might have been Royal Oak. It was I had a bag, and I may have finally just used it because I'm like, why am I keeping this bag after 25 years? I've got a bag that's got shape of the 40 car or 42.
You could have kept the
house
bag
car.
instead of the bricks.
Yeah, I could have. So yeah, we got what else did we get? I mean, back in the day, you would get all kinds of free stuff.
Dad used to get motor oil.
Yeah, motor oil. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing though. But you were working a lot of hours to get that free stuff too.
Right.
You know, you're really putting in the time. So that was almost like a little bonus for you. You know.
You used to get a lot of Union oil, Union 76 oil.
Yeah.
Because they gave it free to the teams, and we would use that up in our own personal cars.
Right.
And we have Valvoline for sponsor at Roush, so we used a lot of that.
That was the good stuff. I know.
That's what I think they had for
'Cause,
Dad.
yeah, we would actually, do trades with other teams. I'm not sure how we ended up getting the oil. I just remember going and picking it up from other teams, and it was the Valvoline, and because they would get it free, and then we'd say, well, here's some, I guess, beer. I don't know, go get the oil.
I
Whatever.
can remember the hand trucks going around on Friday morning. As soon as you get there and you unload the race cars, then the truck drivers is doing all the swapping with the
Switching.
stuff.
Yes, they sure did. That's what I need to ask Bostic about next time I get him in here. Maybe I can get Hard Times, Jerry Swites. You remember him
Yep.
from the 40 truck? And he was always, hey, buddy, I need a favor. Can you do this for me?
Yep.
And, of course, if he asked you that, it would be, hey, just calling me my regular name.
You're still
But-
trying to get Henry in here.
Yeah, Henry Benfield.
He never has time.
Yeah, but Henry's a busy man, especially on Mondays for some
That's
reason.
what I mean.
That's when he hits the road with the roadway. And, a couple years ago, I know he was driving the motor coach for Martin Truex. He was, because I went over and saw him, and he had his golf cart on the back of his pickup or something. And, yeah, he's still busy man, still going. And Bostic's still going. He called me last week and was on his way out to Vegas.
Yeah.
And he had, who did he have with him? Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
Yep.
Peter
I haven't
is that
seen him in
his-
a long time.
Yep.
Is that a stage name? Peter Rabbit?
His name is Peter, and I've got his name in my phone here, but I just got a text from Billy Buck. He's going to be out sick tomorrow again.
Oh,
So, yeah.
feel better, Billy.
Yep. Hope you get feeling better, Billy Buck. And so, and let's see who else. Peter Rabbit. Yeah, so I talked to him for a little bit.
I
And
haven't seen him in a long time.
yeah, sounded like a really nice guy. I'm sure if I see him, I'll remember him.
Yeah, you would know him if you've seen him because he was around. He's been around forever.
Yeah.
Especially back, he was, back when we were going.
Yeah. It's, let's see here.
Derek Colson says they probably swap stuff now using golf carts
Yeah.
instead of hand trucks, golf carts.
Oh, yeah, probably so. Sure. Peter Jellin.
Peter Jellin, that was it.
Okay.
So Rachel wants to know, did Buddy have any favorite local spots to visit outside the track?
Well, yeah. Like at the racetracks or?
Well, I think she means like when you were at a site, did you have any particular spots you like to go to while you were in that city?
Oh, well, yeah, every town has places that you can go to, different bars, different whatever.
Restaurants.
Yep. So what are some of your favorites is what she's
Remember the
wondering.
Dutch Inn in Martinsville? That was always a fun place.
I remember seeing that place.
The Dutch Inn. That's where everybody went.
Jeanette says, "Tell the truth." Come
Tell
on.
her to turn
This
that
is-
off, and we can have some good stories. No, I'm just kidding.
That's how it usually goes. After the show, you're going to start telling me all this stuff, and I'll be like, "Why didn't you say that on?" I mean, it's YouTube. It's not made for kids or any of that kind of stuff. So let it roll.
I mean, every racetrack had its places.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's the let's see, down in Atlanta they had a lot of places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The
Hot Atlanta.
Hot
yeah,
Atlanta.
it was hot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Cheetah something. Cheetah 3
Cheetah
years.
something.
Yeah.
I've been by there a couple of times. I never stayed too long, but I went by there.
I didn't either, and that's the truth. So
Scott likes to tell us about one particular place. I can't remember the name of it, but apparently it's very well known.
where was
Y'all
it at?
talked about.
In O'Farrell's in San Francisco. You remember that place?
I don't know.
yeah,
If
Mitchell
you'd said the
Brothers
name of
Theater.
it, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you said the name of it, maybe.
Yeah. So there's this place in San
Scott's
Francisco.
listening in. He can tell us.
Yeah, tell us what that place is, Scott. There's a place out in San Francisco we went to. It was called O'Farrell's, and I was still young, and I'd been married. Let's see, it's 5 years at this point, 6 years. So, I was too young to go into those places when I got married. So then when I married, of course, I'm not going into them. So I go into this place that's called O'Farrell's out there in San Francisco, and it's a lot of different stuff out there anyway.
Oh yeah.
And there was stuff years later. It took me like 10 years to figure out, oh, that's what that was, that room or whatever. And I was like, why would you go in there? I mean, just weird stuff. Why would you go in the room?
It's because you were a baby when you started.
I mean, I really was. I was like, why would you go in that room by yourself and there's a lady out here dancing? That makes no sense. So anyway, yes. Scott says McHale's in New York. This is Janice. She says, well, it looks like Scott. That's his picture. I'm just kidding. I'm sure she has his phone or she's on
He
his
takes hers
account.
and says, you missed me and stuff like that. So this is payback.
Oh, see that? Well, I was trying to figure out. It doesn't sound like. Okay. Anyway.
Dickie wants to know, where did you hang out when you were in Dinwiddie?
That at the drag strips in Dinwiddie.
Dickie's a big drag racing fan too.
He lives in Virginia. That's why he's asking.
Well, most of the time, drag racing, when we take the motorhome, and we never leave the racetrack once we get there.
Yeah.
And drag racing is a little different than cup racing, because cup racing, they'll close the garage at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock and send you home. Drag racing, they don't close the garage. I mean, you can work
Okay.
24 hours a day, and if you need to.
How about that? I like how in the drag racing you can actually walk down in through the garage too, pretty much during the whole deal, which it makes sense. I mean, during the race you need to be out of the garage because the cars will be coming running through there and stuff.
too, they actually stand in front of their stuff so you can talk to them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, drag racing is a lot more open than than car racing. I mean, the garage is open, the drivers are running around, and
Yeah, true. Jeanette says never got to leave the track, and like a ugh face. Like it's a
Crying.
yes. So there's your Winn-Dixie uniform.
that's
I guess I
part
could
of
have
it.
showed. Yeah. So if you can see my phone here, actually I could put it on the screen. I'll send it to myself and put it on the screen here in a little bit if I have time. Yep. So if y'all got any more questions, throw them out here. But who was your? All right, so you kind of went through some of the drivers that you enjoyed working with. So, but let's just say this: before you got into NASCAR, did you have a favorite driver?
I was always a Richard Petty fan.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I guess because I grew up in Rockingham, and he was kind of a local guy to Rockingham. And I like Benny Parsons because Benny lived right there in Ellerby in Richmond County.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Richard Petty was always my hero, I guess you would say, and that's that's why I guess I enjoyed the year working there.
Sure.
It's just working. Everybody needs to work for the king one time.
Oh yeah. So whenever you walk into that shop and then you're like new in NASCAR, fairly whatever, and then you start seeing people, you see Dale Inman over here, and you see the king. Isn't it just like, wow, there's royalty kind of? It's what
Yeah.
it feels like. It did for me.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the Richard Petty. I mean, he's Richard Petty. You know?
King.
And he's still
the
going.
king.
He's amazing.
Still going.
He's- Yep.
If it wasn't for him and people like him, it would, NASCAR wouldn't be what it is today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, them people.
Wood Brothers.
Wood Brothers.
Yeah.
Then people made it.
Yeah. And that was my favorite back then was Wood Brothers with David Pearson.
Yep.
You know, back in the day. And then my next one was Kel Yarborough. Back in the 70s. So
Tommy says the parties at the drag strip are wild.
I'm sure they are, because there could be all night or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And go ahead and read the other comments there, Tracy.
Rachel says she wishes NASCAR was like drag racing, it being more open for the fans.
Yeah, that would help them a lot if they would do that.
Mm-hmm. And being more personable.
Yep.
And then Jeanette.
She says, right on, Dickie, usually too tired to drink after the long, hot days.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what is your, let's see. What did you ever get around Earnhardt any? Because people always want to know, you know, if you have an Earnhardt story or the one, we don't have the cowbell, because Phil's not here this evening, but we have, he always asks for Scott Trevison, Beer Man, what is your favorite Sterling Marlin story?
Oh, I don't know if I can tell my favorite Sterling
And
Marlin
that's the
story.
standard answer that we get every time. Yes, I get it.
Sterling,
Yeah.
he was one of the fun guys. I mean, he liked to have fun. He didn't do anything wrong. He just liked to have fun, you know.
Yeah.
And my son was with me. We were somewhere. Tommy was with me, and we had this rubber snake. Well, Sterling gets Tommy's rubber snake and chases Tony Glover out of the truck with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
no.
Tony was he's scared of
Oh yeah.
any of that kind of stuff.
And Tommy tells that story he tells it a lot, but it's one of Tommy's, because he was a kid, you know, and he looked up to Sterling.
Oh, yeah.
And it was super funny.
Yeah.
Tony Glover's a character in himself too.
Yeah. We Tony, I don't really know Tony that well, but Larry Carter knew him, and we had his phone number one time, and we were calling him on pit road and saying crazy things to him on the telephone.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tell this story about Larry Carter, and Travis is probably going to kill me if he hears it. But Larry, when we would go to the West Coast, and sometime Travis wouldn't go, and Larry would call Travis, or either call him in his hotel room and not say anything. I mean, we would come in after our dinners usually run till at least 12 or 1 in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
We'd come back in, and the first thing Larry would do was call Travis and not say nothing.
Just sit there.
Yeah, Travis saying, hello, and Larry would just sit there and laugh.
No caller ID back then.
No. And we do it on the hotel phone, because he wouldn't know if it was coming from
Right, the desk.
our desk or where, so.
That's funny. So Rachel says, did Buddy like the older tracks better, like North Wilkesboro and Rockingham?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think if NASCAR would go back to some of those tracks, things would change some.
Well, that kind of leads to a good question. What would you change about NASCAR? I mean, within, you know, we only got 30 minutes left, but what would you change about NASCAR? I was joking about the 30 minutes, but I'm just saying.
Sorry.
He's
Yes.
like, shoo.
Yeah.
I think if they would go back and race Wilkesboro and Rockingham and maybe even Nashville. I never did get to go to Nashville, but
Yeah.
you know, the short tracks, because that's where they're racing at. These 1.5-mile tracks is the people's got the equipment so good now that everybody's so equal. They just sit there and ride.
Right. Yes. I liked Nashville was a neat little track. I got to go there a couple of times. But yeah, some of the tracks, like especially like you said, Wilkesboro would be one that definitely. And you would think as much money as, let's say, some of these drivers have, that, you know, just they would go in and buy Wilkesboro, you would think, and fix it up. Hint Dale Jr. there.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, yeah. Why don't you? We'll have to send him a text or something and ask him. Why don't you go buy Wilkesboro?
I mean, those places you got to really drive the car. It don't drive itself. You
Right.
really got to.
Well, even if it's not just Dale, you know, even if it was a bunch of older drivers decided to pitch in and do it together.
Yeah, true.
That way, not one person's having to fund it all.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to get this picture up here and I'm going to get it on the screen. That's got the Winn-Dixie car. So I'm working on that. But I have a question for you on that. What is the your favorite track that you've been to?
I like Bristol, the night race.
Okay.
That was my favorite one I look forward to every year.
Yeah.
It ain't like it used to be. I mean, it was packed. I mean, just being at Bristol for the night race was always, I like that. And Daytona 500, before they changed the racetrack, when it was the old garages and stuff, you walk in there and you just got that feeling, you know, I'm at Daytona. And it's not like that anymore because they don't have the same garages and
Right.
just different. I like Darlington too.
Yeah, Darlington's cool. It's a historic, like you go in there and you see like the sign, the parking places for David Pearson and things like that. It was just amazing. I was like, where's that noise coming from? It's that computer. That computer gets so loud, the fan on it gets warm. It's a gaming computer, really fast gaming computer. Anyway. Oh, is it okay? So anyway, all right. So what other questions are on here?
So Sam Sharp says, problem with Wilkesboro is the state won't pay for the proper road improvements to the track.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what he says.
Yeah.
I don't think Wilkesboro is no harder to get in and out of than Pocono was. Pocono was always a bad one to get out of.
Pocono.
I remember going by Pocono when it was race time, and it was a nightmare.
At Pocono?
Yeah, we were going on vacation. We weren't going to Pocono. We were going through Pocono.
Yeah. All right. So tell us about what you're doing nowadays. I mean, because you went through your whole racing career, right?
Yeah.
And then so now you're helping out Jeanette. So what do you do? I know you don't just pay the bills.
The chair blew up.
Take a ride. We'll give you time to adjust your chair. That happens.
I don't know what happened.
That happens all the time. But people, you hit it with your leg, and then your chair just goes.
I thought it blew up.
Yeah. Plus, we got ghosts in here at times, so it may have come by and just decided to trip it.
That's not funny.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm just saying. I was sitting here one night and I hear this. It's like 10 o'clock at night.
It was the beers, David.
No, and I can hear this like it was like a screamish yell, whatever kind of.
boy.
Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, but if you go downstairs, have you been down in our basement here?
No, I haven't been down
We'll have
there.
to take you down there.
Neither have I.
And so whenever people haven't been down there, I don't tell them what they're going to see until they go down there. But since you haven't been, and I want our listeners to know, there is the scariest doll, eyes wide open.
Baby doll.
You walk down there, and it's like a, I don't know, 2-3 foot doll, a porcelain doll,
Oh boy.
just standing there looking at you in the basement. So, yes.
He's looking at me like, are you for real?
Yeah, I
he's for
am.
real.
It don't talk, does it?
No.
I know it's like red rum. It's something like that. I don't know.
And that's why he hears things, because
Yes. I hear things. So Paul Rodriguez says, I can tell you about the Pocono traffic. Now he sent me a lot of pictures of Sterling Marlin and a bunch of different people he's taken out there. They went to Pocono for many, many years. So they always seem to have issues with rain. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Some of those tracks, man, I'll tell you what, I think it was the Bristol, was it the night race? It seems like some of them, you'd always get rain.
Pocono was bad for the rain.
Yeah. And
yeah, and it says it's 2-lane roads going there too. Still that way at Pocono, 2-lane
We had
roads.
this shortcut we would take out of there if it wasn't raining. You would go back and then you'd drive up the embankment and come out on the turnpike there.
yeah.
I don't know if did you ever do that?
Yeah, I was thinking that the last year that I went there, we did that. And I'm like, why didn't I know about this before?
And then you had to go at a certain spot because you'd hit a root off a tree and it would like bounce you over so you wouldn't hit the other tree, but you had to keep your speed up to get up there.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so I'm trying to get this picture loaded in still. So y'all continue. Tracy, got any more questions there?
No, not yet. No more questions, but y'all feel free to throw them up here because I'm watching.
Yep.
You said something about the drag racing with Jeanette earlier.
Tell us about it.
She's one of the few females in the world that does this, that rides a nitro Harley.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the only female in the world at the time licensed to ride a Top Fuel Harley. and she was going to make her debut on the top field this past year, and COVID
Yeah.
came in, and that kind of set that back. And
Yeah.
but we're going to go back here next month. We start back. She's going to start on a carbureted bike and see where, you know, we may make a top fuel debut yet. We just got to see how things go.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And so what do you do to prepare for that? I mean, because I saw it was a time-lapse video or something that you put on. You were
She did that.
Okay. So, I mean, like, our listeners have no idea really what that entails. I mean, you just go to the store, or you buy the bike, and you could bring it home and jump on it. I mean.
No, actually, she went to school. I forget what year it was. This was her 8th year this past year that she'd been racing. Mm-hmm. She went to Johnny Vickers' school, Hawaii Racing, and got her license and actually raced that weekend. She rented a bike that weekend.
Okay.
And then she bought her own bike, and her and I met in about the mid-season or something. But her and I do everything now. Ray Price is, you know, he hauled it around for a year for her and got her going, and then we decided we're going to kind of go out on our own, and then we got tied up with Johnny Vickers up there because Johnny's probably the best carbureted guy around on these Nitro Harleys. And then we decided after we won our second championship that we're gonna do this on our own. It's gonna be me and her.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna help us. We're gonna do this, and we ended up winning 2 more championships doing it by ourselves. We went in 16, I think it was. We went to 10 races, and we won 6 of them and runnered up in the other 3. And I think we set a national record that year, a speed record for NHRA. And that was actually the year before, but she's still the record holder in NHRA for Pro Fuel Harleys.
Okay.
184.7, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, we did have a question asking how fast they go. I think her top speed was.
She's been on the carbureted bike. She's been 185 miles an hour, in a quarter mile.
Wow.
And Jeanette says she went to school November 2011 is when she got schooled.
Okay, yeah, 2011. Derek Colson, and hey to Derek, by the way, he was in with me, was it a couple weeks ago? He said, would Buddy happen to remember a man by the name of
Tommy Triplett.
Yeah.
He raced back in the late 80s.
The name sounds familiar. It sounds really familiar.
He says he raced Harleys back in the late 80s.
I'm sure I've heard of him through Ray or somebody, because Ray Price done it forever.
Okay. Was you in here when Eddie Yunt was in here with me?
I wasn't in here, but
Okay.
I knew Eddie. I worked with him at Travis Carter's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Painter.
right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Called him Painter.
Old Painter. He was a good guy.
Yeah, Paul Rodriguez is talking about Pocono. He said that road's called Stone Hollow Road.
The shortcut.
I'm assuming, yeah, Stone Hollow Road. He also says, who is Buddy's favorite number 16 driver? Greg, Ted, Kevin, or Wally?
I'd have to say Ted and Wally.
Ted and Wally.
Actually, Jeanette's at the beach with somebody Jenny, I can't say her last name because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, yeah.
But her husband and her are good friends with Greg Biffle that drove
Okay.
16 car.
Mm-hmm.
I left before Greg came. I was there with Wally, Ted, and Kevin.
Okay. Did you have to, or I say have to, the Japan trip? Because I know, well, Wally went there. But that was, yeah. Did you ever go
No,
to
I did
Japan?
not go to Japan.
Okay. I went there in 96 and 98.
That was too far from Myrtle Beach.
First and last, yes. I know you're right. I know, that's what Tracy likes to go to on these, well, cruises are okay, but whenever we go out of the country, I'm just not a big fan of that. It's like,
No.
you know, I could go hang out down at Myrtle Beach and I'm okay, just to tell you. Or
I
Daytona.
like Caribbean because of the clear water. You
Yeah.
know, we've
Or Destin.
experienced Destin, so yes, I like Destin much better than going to Myrtle Beach, and it's not that much of a drive. But
Yeah. Well, it's a lot less traveling, and you don't have to worry about a passport and crazy people driving around on little cars and stuff. And over at St. Bart's.
oh,
Good
that
Lord.
was insanity.
Yeah, we went to St. Lucia with Matt and Angie Smith couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and
Yeah.
the ride from the airport to the resort was. Matt and Angie actually took a helicopter back, and they didn't drive. They
Safer, right? I
crazy.
guess.
yeah, we were three wide down a 2-way road, and
Yeah.
people
Yes.
passing.
Sure.
Yes.
It's
It's
insane.
insane.
It was like riding with my wife in Charlotte, Jeanette.
I bet she does have a lead foot. I can imagine.
Yeah, she don't need a throttle. She needs a switch. It's either off or
Yes. There you go. Yeah. You should put a
Stop and go.
you should put one of those whatever you throttle on her.
on. Yeah, it needs
on
a
the car.
throttle on her car.
Yeah.
See, the nitro bikes, they're either wide open or off, and that's how she does her gas car. She can't. There's
Okay.
no in between.
Yes. Have you ever had any scary moments with her on that thing? Because it's 2 wheels, you know. And I reminded her that crazy people drive those 2-wheel vehicles.
Yeah, it happens so quick that you don't get scared.
Sure.
I've seen her out of shape a couple of times. We were at Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we had a brace to break. One of those cross members, and the bike sparks came off both sides of it at 1,000 foot, probably 150 miles an hour. And
Wow. That's man, I'm telling you what, you gotta give a lot of respect to her for driving that. I'm sure
yeah.
sometimes you probably look at her like, did you just do that? Really? I mean, kind of like a proud moment.
well, I think she's nuts when she's driving. So
Yeah.
it's
Sure. Well,
and she rides a street bike the same way. I
Oh.
mean, she's a good rider. I
Yeah.
mean, she's really good, but she goes.
yeah.
She ain't scared. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I should have had some pictures ready to pop them up here on her. And but yeah, y'all can check that out on Jeanette Thornley Racing.
I think it's under Jeanette Thornley Racing. She changed it. It's Jeanette Thornley.
You can type it on here.
Well,
Yeah.
and we
You
can
can
look it
still
up
see it,
actually, you know. So yeah, so she's ready. I think she's ready to get back to it.
Oh,
yeah, she said she's ready to get back to it.
Yep. All right, so let's how about we do a little spin to win? It's about that time, I'd say. So Dickie says I have pictures of Angie's bike. So they're having a conversation about the bike. Suzette says, yes, me too. Rachel, I have a lot of you
The
got
pink
the
bike, whatever the pink
Okay.
bike is, yeah.
yeah, you got that. Go ahead and give the what they're talking about, the Miller Lite hats. Need one for the Keystone. Super happy.
Yeah, they're just saying
Brad,
Brad Keselowski's sponsor now is Keystone Light.
Okay, so it's coming back.
Yep.
So did Miller buy Keystone or Coors or something? Because Keystone was a Coors product, I thought.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure. So, but I think Miller's like they've cut way back as far as sponsoring, but who knows? But I don't know that you can have 2 different,
Yeah.
you know, so maybe they did. Maybe they bought into it or somehow. They just need to all come together.
They just need Rusty back in the Miller genuine draft car.
Yeah.
That was always a pretty car.
It was, wasn't it? Had that gold and
Yeah.
yeah. So Rusty, speaking of Rusty, I told you I was talking to Kenny. He's been helping Rusty out some. And I actually, whenever I was talking to Terry Levan, and he said, Rusty's over here. Rusty's here now. And I said, well, give him the link to this show. Tell him about it. So he showed him the show. So Rusty knows about it. Maybe he'll come in here sometime.
I'm sure he would.
Yes. But if did Jeanette want to call and talk to us? Or Jeanette, did you want to call and talk to us? You can very well do that and tell us how we can. Okay, she says at Jeanette Thornley.
That's her, that's her webpage, I guess.
Yeah. And if you want to see the show that she was on here with me, I'll put the link to that show in the description, and I'll put it right up here. I'll put it up here in a card so you can see that show if you click on that.
She probably could put a video or something up too, real quick, or a picture of the bike or something. I don't know where she's at down there, and there's no telling.
Yeah. Oh, I need a number. 704. Let's see here. I better text it to you just because I just want her to call right now. Let's see here. So y'all carry on.
We're just not going to tell her about the wild party we're having at the house tonight.
Yes.
She might be able to make it back tonight.
Me and the 4
right.
dogs and the cat.
All right. So I'm sending you the number right now. Bam. There you go. You got it. So give us a call. 704 da 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 da. If you'd like to answer this morning's impossible question. Oh, I can call her.
Did
think
Buddy
about that.
like the Midnight Miller race car?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
That car was actually the one they named Midnight. Was that Rusty's shop where they're building the bikes at now for a long time? I'm sure he still got
there
it.
we go. And there it is. I'm gonna drop this one and enter this one. And there she is. Hey, Jeanette.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey, Hamm. Mighty fine.
Sounding good. You sound like you're all well rested and getting your vitamin D, soaking it in.
Yeah, we had a couple good days, sure.
I bet. You got any bikes down there? Or just hanging?
Any what?
Any your bikes?
No.
Motorcycles.
No,
Such.
no, girl stuff.
Oh.
She was prom dress.
Well, especially now that Buddy's gone, it's definitely girl stuff.
Yeah, I crashed a girls' week at the beach.
Oh, that's what it
Me
was.
and Tommy.
Okay. All right. So, Jeanette, tell us.
Yeah, we were prom dress shopping today with one of our friends out of Arizona, so
Oh, okay.
it's fun.
So
It's
tell
been
us.
a lot of years since I thought about going to a prom.
Oh,
It's good that
sure.
they're having a prom.
Yeah, really. Tell us your
Yeah.
official title, Jeanette. Yeah, and your
My official.
yeah. I mean, it sounds better coming from you. I think just saying the your what you are, what type of top fuel, that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm just a Nitro Harley pilot. I'm officially licensed to, ride a top fuel Harley, which the injected bike has a top speed of about 220, 225. They run about 6.2 or 3 in the quarter mile when you're on a good run. I, of course, haven't, practiced up that far, but, so we get back on the track this year and I'll get all my carbureted, get some seat time after being off for a year and, run those solid 720s and 730s at 170, 75 mile an hour. And when we're ready, we'll get that injected bike back out.
All right. Very good. It sounds like a good time. So can you really tell the difference between 185 and 225? Or you haven't gone 225 yet, but you know what I'm saying?
So so yes, absolutely. There's a huge difference. Technically at the 8th mile on the injected bike, I'm running as quick, or I shouldn't say quick. I'm running as fast as I would on the carbureted bike at the top end.
All right.
So, yeah. So I could be running, 160, 165 at the 8th mile on the injected bike, whereas, I'm kind of finishing the quarter mile on the carbureted bike. So, definitely takes a little time to get used to with the G-force and reacclimating your mind and your body to where you are on the track.
All right.
She's been 197 on the injected bike.
Okay. Wow.
690, I think, at 197.
I bet that's
Oh, that's right. I was a 693 at 198, and then 690 at 197.
All right. Well, very good. So how can people can follow you on your social media?
So probably the easiest is at Jeanette Thornley, and it's JANETTE THORNLEY. My Instagram is the same, followed by DCR, Jeanette Thornley. I do have a website, got some cool graphics and videos out there as well. I do have a YouTube page, trying to populate it a little bit more. So again, if you look for Jeanette Thornley and subscribe, hopefully you'll see some new activity out there soon.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, y'all go on there whenever you get done with this, and I'll put the link to her YouTube channel on here as well in the description. So yeah,
we always appreciate it, Hamm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're so welcome. And thank y'all for listening and for allowing Buddy to come in here. I know you sent him home just to come in here tonight, right? Yes.
Didn't it work out, right?
It did. It worked out good. It worked out perfect.
I think this was a plan to keep me occupied tonight while she was gone.
Yeah. Well, she can keep her eye on you, really,
Yeah.
right here on the TV screen. Yes. Well, we look forward to you when you're coming home. When are you coming back?
Probably tomorrow, if not Wednesday for sure.
Oh, okay. I'd stay till Wednesday. You might as well. Yeah. Then,
Well, I'd
yes.
like to get home to my family and Laura, and with Mickey, we're praying for him and want to be available to support morally, even though I know we can't, really gather around the hospital or anything. So they're heavy on our hearts right now.
Right. Yeah. Very good.
Yep.
And I'm sure you probably want to get back and see Buddy as well too. So he looks like he feels a little bit lonely right now.
He just left this morning.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, she ran me out
good.
early this morning.
Yeah.
Oh. All
Well, you
right.
all have a blessed night, and thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for calling, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good trip.
Sounds
All right.
all right. Take
Thanks.
care.
You too. Bye. All right, buddy. Could you hear any of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because
You
usually
can hear it through here, I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, very good. So Scott Trevison's, Scott's going to actually come back. He's coming up this week.
I had no idea.
Okay. Tell us again there, Scott.
I don't think.
so-
Well, is it Scott or Janet? Jeanette.
I think both maybe.
Yeah, Janet. That's
All right. So the crazy fast speed on two wheels there, Derek Colson says, and Dickie Dennis says 225 on a bike. OMG. Yes, I concur. That is. And Artie Ford, hi guys. Busy season has started and hoping to stay for the season. We'll do my best to tune in. Pretty cool 2 bike racers on midnight or on tonight. I'm sorry. I don't know where I get midnight. Sometimes my eyes, they're like one's a telescope, one's a microscope, and my whatever depth perception gets way out there. So Jersey Cape Custom Yachts, yes, they ruled. And if you like a Jersey Cape Custom Yacht or their apparel, I've actually wearing the shirt now that Janine sent me. It's a long sleeve shirt and it's got Jersey Cape Yachts on the sleeve. It's a very cool design. And you can reach Janine personally. Her email, Janine, that's GENINE @jerseycapeyachts.com. Or you can call her at 609-965-8650. So check out her apparel and their yachts. If you want a yacht, you can actually get a custom yacht and put it out here on Lake Norman. That's what you need. That's what Jeanette needs.
We would love to have a boat or a yacht. I just need somebody to drive it.
That's right. Yes. And that's where you can get it. So get
We'll
it from
get
Jersey
Jeanette
Cape.
to get it, and you can drive it, and we can just hang around and drink Keystone.
Hey, that's a good idea. I'll be the captain of the ship, Captain Hamm.
And do YouTube shows.
And I'll do
Yeah.
YouTube. I'll do ARG. And yes, I'll even video.
Do the show from the middle of Lake Norman one Monday night.
That's a great idea. I even got my own mobile hotspot. So I could certainly do that. But yes, y'all support Jersey Cape Yachts. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, YouTube. They have their YouTube channel, all that good stuff. So you'll see that on the outro as well. But right now it's time to spin the wheel and see who we can get is our winner for tonight. All right, so we have our custom colors here, just like Jersey Cape Yachts can give you custom colors on their boats or yachts. We have the light purple, which is, let's see here, Derek Colson is our winner this evening. So thank you so much for tuning in, Derek Colson. You're the winner of our prize. I'm not sure what the prize is going to be yet. Maybe Buddy brought some seashells back from Myrtle Beach.
No,
Yes.
I can get some, though.
Sand.
I can
Yes.
put in an order.
That's right. You can. Still got folks down there.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get an autograph or something. But we'll get you that, Derek Colson. We'll get you a prize. We'll get your, let's see, I got some Racing Roots with Hamm decals, and which is exactly right here. And
Just
I
need to
also,
get your email.
yeah, actually, okay, so go on to my website, dhamim.com, and give me your email address as well as your mailing address. And that goes for anybody. I'll send you the decal. Derek's going to get, when you subscribe to my email list, tell me what your favorite driver is, and I'll see what I can figure out for you. And for everybody else that's waiting on prizes, they are coming. The check's in the mail, as they say. So I'll get that. I'm trying to get some secretarial help to get some of that stuff taken care of, because
AKA me.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes, and so maybe we can make that happen real soon. So, but any parting words there, buddy? Want to say goodbye to Tommy and Jeanette and all them?
I'll just tell him to be safe coming home, and tell Tommy I'll see him soon on the way home.
Yes.
He's still rummaging through your closet, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
When I got done, I gave him everything. I've gotten a few things back that's brought memories back, but when I quit.
Yeah.
I was done.
That's cool. You give him stuff. Whenever I was in racing, I used to give my son and my dad, every time I get a hat or anything, they would get it. And so, yeah. Gilligan, Dickie Dennis says, I think Dickie's going to come see us. Actually, he's going to come visit us here within the next couple of weeks. So maybe we can coincide the Beer Man and Dickie Dennis to be in the same room together. That'd be interesting.
That's going to be interesting.
Yes, it will.
Yes.
And I see Billy's over here on the computer from remotely changing some stuff around, spots and all that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, y'all can tune in tomorrow morning for the Billy Buck Morning Show with a side of Hamm. So I'll be here, Hamm on the radio. Billy Buck's going to be out again tomorrow. So we'll see what we can do to have some fun stuff for tomorrow. So y'all tune in for that. And Jake McVie, you have a beautiful secretary. Thank you.
You're sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. So Scott says, great show. Thanks, WAME, Jersey Cape Yachts, and mostly our special guest host, Tracy.
Yay.
And of course, Buddy.
I'm back in action.
Yes. And Rachel says, thank you Buddy for being our guest tonight.
Welcome. Glad
Absolutely.
To be here.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at the last little moment.
So according to the interwebs, Molson, this is from Paul Rodriguez, Molson Coors Beverage Company is dropping the Miller Lite name from the title.
Okay.
All right. So interesting. We'll have to look into that. So, yeah, there you go. All right. So thanks everybody so much for tuning in, and we will see y'all next Monday. We're going to have Andy Houston. As far as I know, that's the plan. Andy Houston, and maybe he'll bring his dad Tommy, maybe even his brother Marty will join him in with us. So that'll be good to see them guys. I haven't seen them in many years. You know Tommy Houston?
Yeah.
Remember him? He raced in the Busch Series for many years.
Drove the Rose's car.
That's right.
Number 6.
Yeah.
I think he drove the Biscuits car too, didn't he? Was it Biscuits or something? Back in the early days?
I remember that. Was it white car?
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
Southern Biscuit.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Southern Biscuit. Something like that. So, yeah. All right. So, we'll see y'all next week. So, stay tuned for more Racing Roots with Hamm and more good shows coming up in the rest of the year. All right. So, we got 2021 to get through. So, we're going to do this every week. So, y'all have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in.
If you don't know our host, David Hamm, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
If you don't know me, my name is Phil Cavalli. I was a 30-year NASCAR photographer. 30-year NASCAR photographer.
Oh, God. And I'm building engines with Mattel.
Yes, Mattel.
Yeah, for Mattel.
Lego blocks.
Yeah.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
their
racing roots.
Sponsored by Jersey Cape Yachts. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and their YouTube channel. Also on JerseyCapeYachts.com. Check out Chad Hyder as he pilots the Canadian E-Motorsports Network, Racing Roots with Hamm Ford, 7:30 every Tuesday evening on Facebook. Check out my website, thehammiam.com. Be sure to hit that subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you'll be notified every time we go live.